Do LeBron and Steph help or hurt each other's legacy?
Well, LeBron has hurt Steph's legacy. By the way, you know I like analytics, right? But that's the difference between analytics and statistics.
Okay.
There are lies, damn lies, and statistics, right? You have to know how to contextualize them. Steph Curry has no such record like that in the playoffs against LeBron. That's absurd.
What I just gave you, 15 and 7?
Yeah, come on, let's look at really what happened. First time they link up in the playoffs, right? In the finals. Give me that look for. You already out. You're on one today already, huh? First time we're in a room together in a minute, and you're giving me that look already.
Oh, it has
First
been a
time
while.
they link up in a playoffs.
Yeah.
It was so obvious that LeBron was the best player in the series. He didn't have Kyrie or Kevin Love. Dellavedova was his second best player. They still took him 6 games. Who won Finals MVP? LeBron should have gotten it. They didn't want to give it to the guy on the losing team. They gave it to Iguodala because he guarded LeBron. Steph didn't win Finals MVP because it was so obvious that LeBron was way better than him and everybody else on the floor. That's the first Finals. Second Finals, a 73-win Warriors team is beaten by LeBron James. By the way, Steph wasn't going to win Finals MVP again. It was going to be Draymond. LeBron won it because he was the best player in the finals, so his team won. That should have been 2-0 for LeBron. Then KD joined a 73-win team, making it impossible for anyone else to win. We all knew, okay, as soon as KD signed that team, this man right here was like, that's the weakest move ever by a superstar because you know it was a non-competitive move. LeBron had no shot. LeBron was still the best player in that series. But you know who the best player on the Warriors was? KD. Steph was second. Steph is so much under LeBron that everyone acknowledged Steph, Clay, Dre, Iggy, they need KD to help them beat LeBron, and then did it again the next season. How many finals has Steph played in? He's played in 5 finals. How many finals MVPs has he won? 0. And mostly, that's because of LeBron James. LeBron James, meanwhile, in every finals he's ever played in, except maybe the second one when KD won it, has been the best player on the floor. LeBron has hurt Steph's legacy.
First of all, not only are you wrong, blasphemous, and utterly ridiculous, but the other part about it is that you got to ask the question, because I don't recall Molly asking the question about who was the better player. That whole soliloquy you just went on was about LeBron being better than Steph. That wasn't a damn question. It was about whose legacy was affected. Now let's get to the legacy. How many times has Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors beaten LeBron in the NBA Finals?
With or without KD?
That's not my question. You don't get to ask the question. I asked you a question. How many times has Steph Curry's team beaten LeBron James' team in the NBA Finals? Answer it.
That wasn't a Steph Curry team.
3.
I asked a question. Does he play for the Golden State Warriors?
3.
You see how you try to avoid the question? Because I'm getting to a point. You're trying to delay the point that I'm trying to get to. 3 times, right?
Yeah.
How many titles would LeBron James have if he won those 3?
3 more titles than he has now.
How much would that be?
7.
How much more of Michael Jordan would that be?
I hear what you're saying.
So if LeBron James had one more title than Michael Jordan, perhaps there would be an elevated level of legitimacy to the argument that he is indeed the GOAT as opposed to MJ in some people's mind, not yours, not mine, but in the minds of many people. The fact of the matter is LeBron James has lost as many titles as Michael Jordan has won. Now, what I'm saying is this. When I talk about LeBron James being number 2 all time, I don't recall me ever saying that Steph Curry was in that conversation. I've said that Steph Curry is the greatest shooter God ever created. The greatest shooter we've ever seen, without question. He's number 1 by far in that category. But in terms of the greatest player ever, the argument and the discussion is LeBron, MJ, with people bringing up Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. If there were not 3 NBA Finals losses on that resume for LeBron James, we might be having a different conversation. Last time I checked, that's legacy. Not what you're talking about with the best player.
I need to clarify something you said, because when I read that record today, you said it's lies, damn lies, and statistics. But on Friday's show, you told me records are statistics of events.
Or, no, statistics are records of events. Right. So it records the events that took place, but it doesn't give you details. And once you get the details, you contextualize it. So let me now tell Stephen A., and let me just say, like, you're slick, Stephen A., you're good If I'm not sitting here, you get away with that nonsense.
I'm
Here's the
actually
bottom
great.
line.
I'm actually great when I'm up against you.
I agree.
But go ahead.
You're great to even be able to stay in a conversation with me. That right there puts you in the inner sanctum of the Hall of Fame. Let me explain it. Let me explain this. When you say what's their record when they face each other, and LeBron would have 7 if not for Steph, that's where you're being slick. Because whoever you see in the finals is going to be a great team. Right? So if LeBron doesn't, whoever you see in the finals is going to be a great team. Out of the Western Conference, of course. Any one of those teams in the Western Conference come out, that's going to be a loaded team. Generally out of the West. Those years that LeBron played the Western Conference team, you had to be loaded to get out of the West. So if LeBron in year 1 doesn't have Kyrie or Kevin Love, he probably loses to whatever comes out of the West anyway. That's 1 down. That's not Steph. Again, Steph didn't win MVP on his own team. Iguodala did for the defense he played on LeBron, which was simply acknowledging LeBron was the MVP. That's 1.
Simple question here. If LeBron and the Cleveland Cavaliers had gone up against Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant at OKC instead of Oklahoma City, you don't think that Cleveland would have had a chance?
Without Kyrie or Kevin Durant, they'd gotten smoked.
Excuse me. Then why are you saying they would have gotten smoked? Because of the greatness of Kevin Durant?
KD and
the greatness of Kevin Durant, who you continuously malign, because you know what? This guy, I'm the one that called it the weakest move. But the point that I'm trying to make is he's not in LeBron's class. He doesn't come close. The decision making at the time of Russell Westbrook as a point guard and how that could have worked against him.
Time out. There are 2 dudes on that OKC team that are different, KD and Westbrook. Yes. Without Kyrie or Kevin Love, you got 1 dude on Cleveland. 2 usually beats 1. They probably lose. My point is, the next season, when you say count the chips, LeBron beat a 73-win Steph team. That's what you hang. That might be the greatest season ever in terms of the story of.
So if LeBron beat a 73-win, thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.